Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to apologize. It seems like every year I screw up. There's a time savings here, and I came late today to your sit because I thought I had time, but I didn't. It's now, we are about in California, 1 hour earlier than used to be the case. So please forgive me. Let me see what's going on here. Anyone has any questions? No politics, please. Big change that came this week. And good things for a lot of people, but also you never know. Brace yourself for some hard times coming up. Okay? So safe and be careful. All right. Anyone has any questions? Yes, 8. No politics, please.
No, it's about delusions.
Delusions, that's politics.
Is it? Yeah, I guess.
Go ahead.
So, Master, we so far learned about different types of delusions, which is view delusions and thought-filled delusions.
Yes.
But I read there's another one called delusions of ignorance. Is that the third type of delusions?
Where did you read it? Be careful, because in Buddhism, the Buddha is kind of wishy-washy. The patriarchs are kind of wishy-washy. Buddhas always have their own reasons. So sometimes they speak this way, sometimes they speak the other way. Yes?
So I read from the wonderful Dharma Lotus Flower Sutra from CTTB, Chapter 3, a parable. And
Chapter 8?
I'm sorry?
Which chapter number?
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3, okay. And can you give us some context, please? It's always helpful to have some context.
So it went on explaining about view delusions, and then also thought delusions being coarse and also subtle. And then it added that delusion like dust and sand are sometimes called delusion of ignorance.
Okay. And that's in the sutra or in the explanation?
It's in 10 Virtues of Elder according to the method of contemplation of the mind. And it says the title is A Parable, Chapter 3.
Okay.
And I think also from CTTB, there was another site I could look for it. It's about Shastra. It's like a short explanation about certain Shastra. And they categorize the delusion as 3 different delusions, which is the last third one is that the ignorance of delusions of ignorance.
Okay, very good. Okay, you know what the first two delusions are. Let's go back and have a review of the delusions here, because in Buddhism, this is very Buddhist. Only in Buddhism can you find this kind of wisdom, wise teachings. There are two types of delusions: view delusions and thought delusions. Okay, and those two types of delusions are the ones that prevent us from reaching sagehood. Okay, for example, the view delusions are 5 types. Number 1 is view of a body. That's a delusion, meaning that, just interpretation for you, if you're attached to this body, then you are having a view delusion. Don't be worried. I was very worried when I heard about it. I said, oh, darn, I will never make it because I like my body too much. Don't look so disappointed. Okay, I used to think that way. But I was very, very worried, let me tell you. I could not ask anyone. I'm so glad no one asked me until today, after 20 years of teaching, 19 years of teaching. No one asked me, because I said, view of a body, no one asked me, but I have a view of a body. I'm really attached to my body. Anyone? Huh? Then we have no chance, do we? Okay, it means that if you are in the midst of attaching to your body, meaning that you are doing something to worship your body, that result, if you're doing something that is a result of the attachment to your body, then you are in a state of confusion. Is it clear? When you're not in that state of mind, then you don't have a view attachment to the body. Is that clear? No one ever asked me this. And the Chinese never explained it to you at all, anywhere that I'm aware of. Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, you name it, Korean, you name it. Okay? As long as you have this thought right now, you're operating in a mode where my body's important to me. My body's important to me. I need to take care of it. I like it. Then you are in a state of confusion. That's all it means. Isn't it amazing? But if you are such that you don't have such attachment, then you're okay. You're not confused. You're not considered to be confused. Does it help? I know many of you have been harboring this sadness, depression, because, deep down you're so attached to your body, but you don't dare admit it. Anyone? I'm the only one. Very good. It's very lonely sometimes. Okay? And so beware. If your actions are based on this attachment to the body, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. If you need to go to the Met Gala, have a big party, a big evening, and you need to go buy a nice dress, okay? And have your hair done. Ooh, nice, okay? Then you're just living. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't feel depressed about it. It's okay to live. But when you're like that, okay, just know that you're in a state of delusion. We're not perfect. Be more humble. This is who we are. This is why we live. Okay? Number 2, second view of extremes. If you believe deep in your heart, okay, unshakably, again, no politics. Master YongHua, no politics. If you believe in 2 extreme views, meaning views of nihilism or permanence, meaning that if you're a dog forever, lifetime after lifetime, that's permanence. Nihilism is that it doesn't matter, whatever you are, after you're dead, everything returns to dust and emptiness anyway. So it doesn't matter what you do. Whatever you do, no change. Okay? So this is against the views of cause and effect. Okay? Meaning no change. So when you believe in these 2 extremes, this is advocated by the externalists in India. They believe in that. There are lots of wise, great teachers in India back then who advocated that. Okay, there are 62 teachers in India have different offering, different views, but they're based on these. And these are the 2 extreme views. These are the most extreme views. So if you believe in these 2, then you are confused. Okay. Number 3, view of what? Anyone remembers? If you plan to be a teacher, you need to memorize these things. Okay? Or if you want to become enlightened, these are the blueprints of enlightenment that only the Buddhists have. If you talk to people and you find that they really believe they're so attached to themselves and they would never, let's say a narcissist, okay? What's a narcissist? The one who's attached to his body, his looks, okay? Then that person has a view of a body. Is that clear? So the one who thinks, for example, that they are rich and powerful, like an emperor, view a body. Is that clear? Okay, me. Okay. And the third type of view is, yes, 8.
Deviant view.
Deviant views, absolutely. Deviant views is that there's no cause and effect. It doesn't matter, especially in America. Okay? It's okay as long as you can get away with it. There's no consequences. That's a deviant view. Okay? That's contrary to laws and cause and effect. Okay? There's no such a thing. If you can get good results from some bad causes, that's not possible. Never. Okay? No 2 ways about it. You do something bad, you're going to bear the consequences. You're going to suffer because of that bad karma. No 2 ways about it. Number 4. What's number 4?
Master, I've made some slides, so that's why I remember. Otherwise, I would not know all of this. View of grasping views.
View grasping at views. Meaning what? Come on, Chinese people, you can cheat. It's your heritage. You're entitled to it. Yes, Lena. What's the view grasping at views? Let's see if she understands English.
No, I don't know the answer to this question, but I want to clarify the first view. So you said if we take care of our body, that means we are attached to our body. So if we feed our body, we clean our body, that means we are attached to our body.
Is it attaching the body when you clean your body? Sometimes it's necessarily attaching to your body, because without a body, how can you cross your legs and meditate? How can you cultivate without a body?
Right. So that's my question. So if we take care of our body in order to cultivate, is that attached to our body or no?
If you take care of the body without any attachment, then there's no problem.
So how do I know whether I'm attached to my body?
How do you know? You know when you're still confused like hell.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Okay, I know you intellectuals always know, can you give me a definite answer? Is it a yes or no? It depends, is the answer. Okay? Don't have to be so obsessed about it. You just need to know, okay? So that as you practice, eventually you see this knowledge here becomes useful, especially after you made it. You made through these things and look back and say, that's what it means. If I explain everything to you right now, it's not possible. There's too many variations, too many combinations, there are too many permutations. It's not possible to explain to you. Okay? Just remember these 5 rules, that's all, these 5 types. And that's good enough. And eventually, as you sit through this, because this process here, let's face it, a lot of our people, a lot of the Chan practitioners don't even know about the 5 views. Okay? View delusions. And yet they still are enlightened. Why is that? Because the process, the procedure we teach you will pull you through all these delusions naturally without you having to know too much. Okay? If you know a little bit more, it's more helpful. But what matters is that you, number one, trust the process, because many people before you have made it already. Okay, push through these view delusions. Number two, as I just said, these people who made it, who have to teach others, and then you begin to see that why it's difficult to teach certain types of people. Okay, and so don't worry, don't be obsessed. Okay, this is a very fundamental knowledge. Okay, it's important for you to know, and that's it. As soon as you know, shelve it. One day you find it, you understand why. Okay? Okay, number 5. What's number 5?
Excessive prohibitions view.
Okay. What's that? Anyone knows? The Chinese are not cooperating, the Koreans are not cooperating, the Vietnam are not cooperating. No wonder I feel so lonely. Okay? Excessive prohibitions refers to the fact that you have extreme prohibitions in your practice. Prohibition refers to the things, the rules that you use to stir yourself, okay? Or let's say precepts, okay? Prohibitions here mean excess prohibitions. It refers to the fact that in the past, these Indians, practitioners, they opened their heavenly eyes, and they saw that the dog, after it dies, some dogs went to the heavens. And they said, wow, that's very good. This is a Chinese explanation. standard explanation. And so that's wonderful. Therefore, the dogs, if the dog can make it to the heavens, therefore, that's live our life like a dog. Okay? Meaning you bark at strangers. And you eat certain things that are tasteful to you, to dogs. And you chew on bones, okay? Stuff like that. And so those are prohibitive, the views are excessive prohibitions, because and they're wrong because it's based on greed and incomplete knowledge. This is very dangerous. It is, they don't know enough. They only saw a small interval of time, and they draw conclusions out of it. Whereas the Buddha's wisdom is based on an infinite timeline. Most of the worldly knowledge has a time limit. Okay? Buddha's knowledge is timeless. It's true now, it's true in the past, and it will be true in the future. It will never change. That's a universal truth. Whereas these non-Buddhist wisdom, okay, that's any wisdom that's not based on the Buddha, you don't know how powerful my statement, I keep on stressing to you, do not waste your time. Okay? If you're seeking wisdom, it's not going to be from an unenlightened. First of all, it is not from a non-Buddhist teacher, number one. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm trying to save you time. Many of you are very sincere, are seeking some inspiration, some transcendental wisdom. You're not going to find it from non-Buddhist teachers, because their wisdom is bounded by time. Buddha's wisdom is not. Okay? And number two, not all the Buddhist teachers have this wisdom, because unless you are enlightened, okay, and a certain level of enlightenment, you will not be able to understand these things either. Even bodhisattvas don't understand. Okay? And therefore, even enlightened people should also know their limitations. So, how could you possibly trust someone who's not even enlightened to give you advices about your life? They may sound good. They may say what you want to tell you what you want to hear, but they're confused. They're so confused. It's so simple. Stop wasting your time and seeking wisdom where there isn't. I'm telling you that it's because that's my personal experience. I sought and sought for a teacher, and I could not find it. You wouldn't believe how tough it was for me to try to find some directions, some light. And eventually, and I'm very proud to tell you, eventually I came back to Master YongHua, okay? I believe, for some reason, in his Dharma. I didn't believe in him. I believe in his Dharma. Because my teacher is a chameleon. Sometimes he says yes, sometimes he says no. For to me, I've caught it very fast. I said, sometimes he said no to this guy, and he said yes to the other guy. Which way should I go? It confused me. But then I said, what he teaches is what I can believe in. And that's the difference. That's what saved me. Okay? And finally, view number 4. The last view is view of what? View
of grasping views?
View grasping at views. This refers to the fact that those people who have a little bit of achievement, a little bit of a spiritual attainment, they think that they are enlightened. This refers specifically to the Buddhist monks and nuns. In particular, there's a monk who reached fourth dhyana. In fourth dhyana, you have you stop the coarse thoughts, and based on Buddhist teachings, we teach about emptiness. So this guy here in the fourth dhyana, he saw that below that, when he was at third dhyana, he saw some coarse thoughts. Okay, and he still has some fine thoughts. When he got to fourth dhyana, even these finer thoughts even disappear. So he thought that he became a fourth stage arhat, and that's why he realized that from third to fourth, in principle, in third to fourth, he let go of a lot of thoughts, certain types of thoughts, and he thought that at fourth dhyana, he thought that he became a fourth stage arhat because he saw no more thoughts. What he didn't realize that even at fourth dhyana, he had some so minute thoughts that he could not even detect. That's what happened. Okay, so that's why that's view grasping at views. Okay, and so these are the 5 types of views that prevent you from reaching sagehood. Okay, and then thought delusions are hatred, stupidity, anger, arrogance, and doubt. And those are the thought delusions. Okay. Finally, I have now about half an hour left. And finally, those are the 2 views. You have the view delusion and thought delusion. These are the 2 things, the 2 delusions that prevent you from becoming a sage in Buddhism. Okay? And after you become a sage, the sages, after you become enlightened, you still have something called the delusions of ignorance. Okay? This refers to the bodhisattvas, who even though they're enlightened, they still have a lot of ignorance left. And it's not what ordinary people what they can understand. Even bodhisattvas, they have a certain ignorances, types of ignorances that they cannot detect, and that's why they still need to work at it. And this is why the bodhisattvas really have to work much harder than before, because these ignorances are very, very hard to detect. It's much easier for you to cross your legs and sit there. Eventually you see your view delusion and thought delusions. That's easy to see. But when it comes to ignorance, it's much, much harder to detect them. So that's why the bodhisattvas still need to work on their ignorance, the delusional ignorance. So this bodhisattva at this level has his own kind of ignorance, okay? That the Buddha also is helping. Buddha also knows that, so the Buddha gives the bodhisattva direction on what to do to resolve his ignorance, to move to the next level. Next level has its own type of ignorance. Next level, next level, next level. And these ignorances are very, very minute, very fine. And there are as many as the sands in the Ganges rivers. That's why it's very, very difficult to undo, very difficult to get them all. Okay? So in chapter 39 of the Avatamsaka Sutra, you see, for example, for a guy to reach from first ground bodhisattva to second ground bodhisattva, he would have to, let's say, I think I remember the first one or the second one, I don't remember exactly. He would sit by the ocean and meditate for a long, long time before he can progress to the next level. It's not funny, let me tell you. You sit there, and it doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter what you do. It takes them so long to be able to resolve these types of delusions that prohibit this bodhisattva from moving just to the next level, let alone to jump to 1 or 2, 3 levels. That's how difficult it is. That's why they call delusions as fine as the sands of the Ganges rivers. And that typically refers to the delusions of the enlightened people like bodhisattvas. All right? Does it help? Okay. Very good. Thank you. So, now you know that you should be more forgiving and understand that each of us have a lot of challenges. It's not that easy, okay? Every step of the way, it's a lot of things that can trip you and make you fall. It's very, very difficult, okay? It's never simple, okay? But that's why, that's what it takes for you to be able to make it. The more difficult, the faster you can progress. You want simple, you want pleasure, you want happiness, and then it's much harder for you. Then you're attached. They're very coarse attachments. Okay? All right, anyone else? Yes, 8.
Can I ask one more question, Master?
Sure.
So you emphasize a lot about learning Chinese characters.
Yes.
And especially when your wisdom is really high in advance, then the Chinese language is really important. But I was just curious, but you're speaking to us in English, and you're showing your teachings and wisdom to us. Wouldn't your English teaching would include the wisdom that you're talking about in Chinese that you mentioned about?
Of course. I like to think. I'm glad you asked the question. What's 214? Requesting a Gatha. Okay? This is what I like to discuss today. Okay? And so, yes, I will always advocate that you should go back to the source of wisdom. The Chinese traditional language is an incredible store of enlightened wisdom that I would highly recommend that you go back to it. And in order to go back to this original source of wisdom in Chan, that's where our wisdom comes from. You need to go back to the source, okay? And it's because even myself, I don't understand most of it, to be honest with you. So that's why you notice when I teach you, I include the Chinese source, the best source available that we have. Okay, and why am I teaching it to you? I'm teaching it to you because even the Chinese nowadays don't get it. That's why it's just a start, like Master YongHua. He came to our country in the United States and he started explaining, for example, the Avatamsaka Sutra. And he says, he gave us a warning already. He says, I understand half of the Buddha's teachings. So what I teach you, in parentheses, what I teach you is only half of what he taught. He never claimed that he understood the Buddha's entire teachings, and I agree with him. None of us can understand the Buddha's teachings unless we are Buddhas. Okay, so for him to say, I got half of it is extremely, extremely useful. Okay, he says there's so much left that I still don't get. You see? And so that's why even he himself, he needs to go back to his Chinese text to learn from it, because there's no one else who can teach him. Okay, so that's why when we teach you what we call American Mahayana, we still want to give you the original text, the original source, so that you yourself, in one day, is my hope, one day you can look at me and say, you know, Master YongHua is so wrong over here. I agree with him, but this area here he explained to you, it could be, I have a better explanation. And then it will tickle me pink, because that's exactly the purpose of this is for you. I'm simply, like Master Hsuan, pointing you to a source, suggesting to you that this is what it means, but it's not necessarily the complete information, because I myself don't fully understand these Weishan anecdotes, to be honest with you. Okay, so what I'm doing is that I'm proposing to you, this is my view of it, okay, my view delusion, if you will, okay, and feel free, okay, to agree or disagree with it, okay, whatever it is, I pay attention to when you disagree, and I say, there's a point there I haven't thought about. Okay, so this is what the nature of learning is. We learn from each other. Okay, and so, but there's still a lot more. When I explain this to you, okay, it's a lot more that we don't know. For example, the context of the anecdote. The language, the old Chinese is very difficult to understand already. But we don't have the context at all, what happened to this person. For example, Wei Zhou, okay? I don't know what Wei Zhou is. And it turns out my Chinese disciple did some research for me, and lucky me, before I wouldn't dare touch these things because I couldn't understand the Chinese, okay? So nowadays I have my Chinese disciples, Wei Zhou is actually one big wig, an official of the court, very powerful official of the court, who's a Buddhist disciple, who at the time the Chinese officials loved to study Buddhism because they find it to be most intellectually stimulating. So let me read this Gatha, this anecdote for you. Wei Zhou requested Weishan to give him a Gatha. Weishan said, to reveal oneself to another is what stupid indulge in. How much the worse it is to document it on paper. I'm not sure how to put it. I hope that someone cleans up this English here for me. Okay, how much worse it is. Okay. How much worse it is to document it on paper. To put it on paper. Wei Zhou then made the same request to Master Yangshan, who drew a circle called perfect mark, Yuanxiang in Chinese. You see, Chinese is Yuanxiang. It has multiple meanings. We can do a circle or we can do perfect mark. Yuan is perfect, Xiang is mark. Okay, on a sheet of paper and wrote, to know by thinking is. Okay, let me clean it for you. I want to change the English a little. Some of you are good in Chinese, some of you are good in English, so like we can all cooperate. To know by thinking ranks second. To know without thinking is third. Ranks third. Okay? because the Chinese has the word, it uses the word law. Law here, it has multiple meanings, but it's sort of have a derogative connotation. Law is to fall. Okay? Falls to second, falls to third. There's somewhere and you lower, you fall. Okay? Meaning that, okay, I'll explain that to you later. Okay, that's it. So the Chinese is so eloquent. That's why to translate into English doesn't do justice to the eloquence of the two founders of our school. Okay? Master Wei Zhou is a big shot back then. He's like a governor. Yes. Thank you. It's beautiful because these incredibly wise Chinamen, I mean Chinese people. Excuse me. We like to make fun, okay, of Chinese people because I'm jealous of them. They have so much that we don't have. Okay? I'm really, really jealous. I wish I were Chinese. It's always you say, why couldn't I have been born Chinese or something? I have to learn a language, and I'm stupid at languages. So Master Wei Zhou is a big shot. And he came to Master Weishan. See, he has access. You don't know how important it is to have access to a great teacher to ask a question. I didn't have it. That's why I'm always envious of this. My God, he has a teacher. He looked at Master Weishan and said, please teach me. Give me a Gatha, because this is Gatha is the Chinese wisdom, the most elegant form of Chinese teaching from a Chinese culture. Okay, so back then, great teachers always say something that utter a verse, like the Buddha. He explained things and he uttered a verse. Okay. And so that's why a lot of teachers, teachers nowadays compose poems and verses and poetry and so forth, even though they're not enlightened. They forgot that you should be enlightened first before you compose verses. I mean, poetry. Okay? Please remember that, all of you, in the future, until you're certified, don't bother composing poems. Okay? I find your poems disgusting, by the way. Yeah. So Master Wei Zhou say, he looked up to Master Weishan and said, please give me a poem, okay, that of your wise teaching. So Weishan said, to reveal oneself to another is what stupid people indulge in. How much worse it is to document it on paper. Okay, because Master Weishan is very, very brutal. Okay, that's Master Weishan. Okay, he's not gentle. He's not a gentle teacher at all. Looking back, you go back to his anecdotes, he doesn't care if you're not happy. He abused people. I would never do that. Okay, so in contrast, to Yangshan, you see later, Yangshan plays along with you. Master Weishan stop you right there and say, stop, or beat you in the head, okay? And that's Master Weishan. Come again? So Master Weishan say, 赌面相承. Okay, this is beautiful. He said, see, he uses 8 characters here. So this is very poetic. And this idiot Wei Zhou, what is it? Wei Zhou missed it. This is poetry here. 4 Chinese characters together. Okay. Yeah. And so he says, when you're face to face, and you xiang chen. Chen is to reveal yourself. Okay? Is what stupid people do. Okay? Think about it. Rich people like to say, I'm richer than you. Okay? Nobility look at us as you're a servant. I'm not. That kind of thing. Does it make sense? So that's referring to. Master Weishan says, okay, so you, this is what ordinary people do. Stupid, ordinary or stupid people do, is what they like to reveal themselves, who they are. They want recognition, if you will. Okay? So to reveal oneself is basically based on the premise that they want to be recognized for their superior aspects. They are nobility, they are an official like Weizhou, okay? Or they are a man, okay? And you women are not, okay? You don't have what we do, and you said exactly the same thing. He said, you have two of what, we have two more than you. Never mind. And so, you see, so this is what Master Weishan says. You reveal, because basically Master Weishan is telling Weizhou that you are stuck on that. You're stuck on yourself. Okay, your behavior, your words, okay, are colored by the desire to make yourself important. Okay, this is what rich and powerful people fall in. Okay, and He Kwang, how much is the case that you committed on paper? So meaning that if you have to ask me to write it, okay, on paper, okay, to write it is a commitment on paper, and that's even worse than for me to reveal myself to you. Because if I reveal myself to you, yeah, I have a big ego, but only you know that. But if I commit it to paper, then a lot of people will know, a lot more people will know it for a long, long time, as long as they can access it. Okay, so Master Weishan, basically, that's his style. His style of teaching is that he'll hit you on the head, he cut it out. What a stupid question. That's his style of teaching. And go to Master Yangshan. And Weizhou didn't get it. Weizhou completely didn't get Master Weishan's teaching. That's what happens. This is why we have Weiyang. Weiyang. Wei is that Weishan teaches a certain way, Yangshan teaches a different way, just in case you're too stupid to get it. So at least you have two chances. Whereas the other Chan schools, you only have one chance. That's it, one style. Isn't that cool? So Master Yangshan, Weizhou, who didn't understand it at all, made the same request to Master Yangshan, okay? Because Master Yangshan was recognized by Master Weishan as a good knowing advisor, okay? He drew a circle, a perfect mark, okay? Drew a circle on a sheet of paper and wrote. I'm not sure why he drew a circle, okay? Maybe you Chinese people can help me out. Is there maybe there is a context for that? There is a tradition for that. I'm not sure. Okay, let me. Yes, Jane, Professor Jane.
Thank you, Master. The circle is the Chan circle.
Yeah, they call perfect mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why do you have to draw a circle? He asked for, the guy asked for a Gatha. He doesn't ask for a circle. Why would you draw a circle? I don't quite get it. Okay? Why would he draw it? Why couldn't he simply write a Gatha? Okay, think about it. We don't have to answer everything in one shot. So Master Yangshan gave him a Gatha. Now, real Gatha, you have 4 by 4 by 4 by 4. You see that? It's beautiful. Okay? It says, to know by thinking, falls to second. I use ranked because it's just to be polite. Okay, because this is a verse, remember? That's not be too coarse. Elegance matters sometimes. That's why we use verses. To know without thinking falls to third or ranks third. What does it mean? It means that if you use your intellectual thinking, meaning deduction, then it's only second. It's not the most desirable. If you don't even use your head, then you fall to third. Meaning what? If you're completely illogical, you're completely illiterate, you're completely stupid, okay, then it's even worse. Okay? So what is he trying to tell Weizhou here? It's beautiful. Oh my God, I really enjoy these things when I'm with you. I read it the last few weeks, preparing for each lecture. Maybe you're thinking, maybe I fall upon this. And then now, today, all of a sudden, I appreciate it more today with you. Yes, Jun?
Master, I think you said it in the wrong order, right? So it's not thinking is the second. Thinking and knowing is the third. I think you just said it in a different order.
Not to know without thinking falls to third. To know
second.
By thinking falls to second. It's beautiful because what he's saying, his Master Yangshan basically is pointing to Weizhou. He says, you. Okay, he's certifying Weizhou. He said, you are only second. You're not as hot as you think. You are there because you are running, you're ruling the people who are not as smart as you are. Therefore, they're not as important as you. Therefore, they need your help. They're third. You need to guide them. You need to show them the way. Yes, Jun?
I think it's kind of interesting because here it talks about second and third, and it's begging to ask what's the first.
That's what I'm getting at. Meaning you're not first. You don't be so full of yourself. We are first, you're not.
It's the first.
That's Yangshan way of scolding you. It's very, very subtle. He says, hey, Weizhou, you second. Okay? The people you rule is third because they're stupid. They can't think for themselves. Therefore, the king has to appoint you to rule over them, to be governor. Okay? To be an official so that you can help these people who cannot think. Okay? But you are not number one. That's his teaching. Yes. And that's a very important point. In Buddhism, the teaching is always about you. It's not about her. It has nothing with her. It's about you. It's very individual. It's very Chan. Yes, 5.
Thank you, Master. Maybe Master Yangshan drew the circle, the perfect mark, because that one is number 1.
Could be. That's a good point. I would buy that, yes. But no one gets it, including me, except for number 5 here. Anyone else?
Is that there's nothing to be known? So if there's something to be known, you're already not the first.
No, third meaning you're not using your head.
What I'm saying is that
Busu here is not using your head, meaning it refers to the people that Weizhou rules over. They don't use their heads, as well as Weizhou.
What I was saying is that if you think there's something to be known, that's already not the first. The first is nothing to be known.
No. He's teaching Weizhou. It's not about knowledge here. It's about, he says, here, you want to understand? Okay, let me tell you where you are. Because remember, Weizhou is full of himself. He's seeking for validation. And he says, that's why Master Weishan says, you're not that important. That's the only verse that matters to you. Only a good no advisor would dare do that to you. He says, you're not that important. All the other monks and nuns are telling you the exact opposite. You're important. Thank you so much for coming. We're so lucky to have you. Not. Okay? And that's what Master Weishan says. He says, because Weizhou, wherever Weizhou went, everyone went out, rolled out red carpets. Oh, the governor's here. The governor's here. Come on, everyone, shape up. Okay, get ready for a big shot. That's Yangshan does it too. He rolled out the red carpet. Okay, Yangshan does the opposite of Master Weishan. Master Yangshan rolled out the red carpet and talked to him, offer him pu'er tea, expensive pu'er tea, and so forth. Okay, and then give him the best thing the temple has to offer. And then when Master Weizhou asked him for instructions, he find a way to show him Master Weizhou without insulting him. Okay? But if he kowtows to Weizhou, then people like us would judge Master Yangshan, wouldn't we? This is a problem. You can please Weizhou, you can please a tycoon, you can please a big donor, but your disciples and the Buddhist disciples in the future will judge you, will be disappointed at you. This is a problem with the teachers. The teaching, the Buddhist wisdom, remember, is timeless. So if the teaching is only good for Weizhou in that moment, then it's not very wise. Wisdom is too limited. Okay, so that's why Master Yangshan, Master Weishan are bound by this. When he says something, it's being recorded somewhere by his disciples, his attendant, who were told later, what happened? Master Yangshan, he talked to the governor today. You know what he said? And that's what we're hearing today. So Master Yangshan has to teach both Weizhou and us in the future as well. Is that clear? So what's beautiful about it? See, typically people like me, I'm so scared of politicians. I'm scared of all of you. Okay? So that's why when you behave like that, okay, then your disciples will be disappointed by you, and then but they don't understand. They don't understand me at all. Never mind, it's not about me. Okay, so the teaching, what I love about this here, anecdote here, is Master Weishan and Yangshan had to find a way to teach Weizhou, okay, without offending him. He says, okay, first of all, I recognize you, that you're better than your people. But you know what? You don't have any real wisdom yet. That's why you're only second most desirable. Your education, your attainment is at best second. That's what a teacher must tell his students. The facts, the truth. If the teacher is too worried about pleasing his disciples for whatever the reasons, okay, then the teacher cannot help the student. Master Yangshan felt that he must teach Weizhou. That's why he had to give him this verse. And what's the difference about him, Master Weishan, is that Master Yangshan gave him a verse, whereas Master Weishan chose to not give him a verse. You see the styles of teaching here? Master Yangshan is pliable. He says, you want to play? I play with you. Okay? Master Weishan, on the other hand, says, idiot! Don't ask again! And Master Weizhou walked away unhappy. So, was he talking about me? I think he was. I'm not coming back. So, okay? So this is what people do. You know, Weizhou walk around and he has his hat, his high official hat, like in Korea, yeah, Korean culture. You guys wear the hat with a weird feather, yeah? No, that's for the officials. Okay, and the king who has to wear the crown, you know, they reveal themselves. It's insulting all of them. And this is something you should learn. Very important to me. I appreciate Master Weishan's teaching. He says, don't reveal yourself. If you have real wisdom, you don't want people to know. In other words, and none of anyone else's business. You don't need to reveal yourself. When are you going to wake up? Don't ask for recognition. Don't ask for special treatment. If you have wisdom, I'm talking about you, to you, left home people, the you cultivators. Okay? You don't need to ask for anything. You don't need people to know you, to show appreciation for you, to like you. And then, right, you guys walk around and say, like me, like me. Juby.
마스터, 질문이 있는데요. 저한테 질문할 발언권을 주시는 게 맞나요? 아니면 저 혼나는 과정인가요?
Master, are you giving me a chance to speak, or are you just scolding me? Am I in the process of being scolded?
You don't understand me. I wasn't scolding you. I just calling your name.
네, 마스터. 감사합니다. 마스터, 제가 궁금한 건, 그 슬라이드에서 생각해서 알면 2류고 생각 안 하고 알면 3류라고 했는데, 제가 궁금한 건 2류랑 3류랑 이렇게 되는 그 과정이, 그러니까 다시 말하면 2류가 더 레벨이 높은 건지 아니면 3류가 더 높은 건지, 저도 순이랑 의견이 같은 게 생각해서 생각 안 하고 아는 게 더 높은 경지라고 생각해서 이 슬라이드에 대해서 질문 드렸습니다.
So I have a question about the slides, because in the 5th page it says to know by thinking ranks second, and to know without thinking ranks third. But I'm confused that which one is higher, because I think to know without thinking is higher ranking.
You don't know what to know without thinking. This without thinking here refers to your without using your thinking mind. As I explained to you, this refers to the subjects of the official Weizhou. They don't think. They obey their desires, their impulses. They obey their afflictions. They don't think. Most people are driven by their own afflictions. They want a car, a red car. They want a glass of wine. They want recognition. They want to feel important, okay? And that's what really drives them.
그러니까 맞서 제가 이걸 봤을 때는 생각 안 하고 그냥 안다는 것 자체가 어떤 사고 프로세스 과정이 없이 직관적으로 알았다는 걸 얘기하니까 오히려 그게 더 높은 상위 레벨의 그 단계라고 생각을 해서 질문 드려봤습니다.
So I asked this question because to know without thinking means you just know without any processing. So that's why I thought the rank third means higher.
No. Why didn't you say to know without thinking ranks first? You should ask the question. You could have asked the question. Why would you know? Why didn't he say to know without thinking ranks first instead of without thinking ranks third? He could have said first, but he didn't. He said ranks third. Why not? Because the point of the teaching is for who? For Weizhou, not for you. If he says to know without thinking ranks second, to know without thinking to know without thinking ranks first, then Weizhou would not understand what to know without thinking is. Then Weizhou will walk away still confused like before. It's not helpful. So Master Yangshan chose to use humor, okay, and also at the same time be factual. It's double entendre, double meaning. Okay? Is that how you guys say it? Hey, white pale-faced people, how do you say double entendre? French is double entendre. It's not double entendre.
It's all white people.
Yeah, you're not white? I'm sorry. Okay, you got that? He could have said to know without thinking ranks first. Then this is what you expect. This is what he's humoring us as well. I know many of you would love to know without thinking ranks first, right? You would have said that, but I prefer this style. To know without thinking ranks third here is for Weizhou. This is so beautiful. He says, I'm teaching you, boy. It's like you teaching a child. You know he cannot understand anyway. So you say, to know without thinking ranks first, okay? It's not going to do anything, okay? But Master Yangshan chose to humor this guy and said, I know why you're there, because you're ruling over a bunch of idiots. So insults everyone. Oops. Jumi doesn't like it. I don't care. Okay? I'm still not sure about the circle. I like that concept there that number 5 said earlier. That's pretty good. Okay? That's one possible thing. But I'm waiting for the Chinese to do some more research and tell me what I'm missing here. Why would draw a circle? Okay? That is so... Master Yangshan would not do anything without thinking. I mean... He's deliberate. Everything he does is very deliberate. But you see the style, Master Yangshan is humorous. I like that style. Okay, it's fun to be with him. Yes, Lena.
So here to know means to know what?
To know what you know. There you go. What you know. Okay. You see. You ask a question, if you were there, Lena, you were there, and you ask Master Yangshan the thing, he could tell you the same thing. He says, to know by thinking ranks second. To know without thinking ranks third. Refers to your students.
Okay. So it could mean different things to different...
Meaning that you're not first yet. Okay? You still have work to do. This is very important. He gives the facts and at the same time encourages Weizhou to be more humble and know that he still has a lot to learn. He's not number one yet, like the way he thinks. See, it's parallel to Master Yangshan. To reveal oneself to another was stupid and indulgent, meaning you're stupid. You see that? Master Yangshan is the same message, but in a verse. You stupid, the people you hang around with that adore you and you depend your living on is even worse. So you're all stupid. And that's what Master Yangshan said in one sentence. Say, to reveal oneself to others is what stupid people indulge in. You see? So Master Yangshan prefers humor, but the information he gives, okay? You see the style of teaching is so fascinating to me. Okay, Master Yangshan is a humorist. He uses humor in his teachings. Master Weishan is more brutal. He's violent. Okay, so he says, okay, you guys always try to reveal yourself. Okay, to say, meaning I'm more important than you. Yes, JC. I'm sorry, I'm going to go over time because I was 15 minutes late, and now let's wrap it up. No, go ahead. Go ahead and ask. No more? Okay. 아니요.
그냥 가겠습니다.
Master, I will pass.
It's okay, you can ask. You still have 1 more minute.
질문 아닙니다.
No question.
Okay, yeah, maybe next time. Okay, and you know what's connection between? He says you stupid, keep indulging yourself, and then furthermore, the second part here, how much it was the document on paper? He's probably insulting Weizhou because Weizhou liked to write verses, to write poems. This is what a lot of people like to do back then. Like, what is it? Monks in particular, like the 5th patriarch, okay? Like the 6th patriarch wrote a poem, and 5th patriarch asked for a poem, so that started this mad rush to write poems for the monks and nuns nowadays. My teacher, Master YongHua, wrote a lot of poems, a lot of verses, okay? And so that's what Master Weishan basically said. He says, hey, cut it out. You don't need to compose poems. And that pertains to Mr. Weizhou as well. Okay? Anyone else? This is fun. It's amazing and how brutal Master Weishan was. And he got away with it, and people kept on coming, and he scolded them anyway, regardless. Okay, they liked that. They came back. Okay, and then Master Yangshan has his own style. He used humor more. Okay, so you see, that's our school. There's times where they would have the option in a way, the Wei Yang style of training. Sometimes you're brutal, sometimes you use humor. Okay, stop here today. Thank you, everyone.